let y'all know my mom is so amazing and cute.
What if the person you once loved becomes the greatest threat to your life? April 3rd, 2024. Dayton, Ohio. The clock reads 2:50 a.m. A desperate call to emergency services breaks the night silence. While the call was going on, gunshots echoed through the quiet neighborhood.
Hello? 911, we got a call from this number. Is everything okay? Where are you? Where are you?
This is the story of Montanae Davis, 26-year-old nurse and mother of two adorable girls, whose life was cut tragically short by her jealous ex-boyfriend who couldn't let go and move on with his life. Have you ever known someone who couldn't accept when a relationship was over? Someone whose jealousy turned into obsession? Or have you been in a situation where you couldn't let someone go after a breakup? Montanae had just found love again after going through a messy relationship with 24-year-old Jamarte Brown, which led to their breakup. He couldn't live with the fact that she had found someone else and was happy. After a series of threatening calls days prior, he broke into her home while she was sleeping and riddled her with gunshots. Her crime? Moving on after a broken relationship. Montanae did everything right. She recognized the warning signs in her relationship with Jamarte Brown. She ended things. She built a new life. She even called 911 when he threatened her that night of the incident. Yet somehow, the system designed to protect her failed in the most catastrophic way. In this story, we'll walk through the final hours of Montanae's life, a woman whose compassion touched countless patients as a registered nurse, whose smile brightened rooms, and whose love nurtured her children. We'll examine how ordinary jealousy transformed into deadly obsession, and the crucial moments where intervention might have changed everything. Have you ever ignored red flags in a relationship, hoping they'd just go away? Have you watched a friend dismiss threatening behavior from an ex as just talk? Or maybe you've wondered what you would do if someone you once cared for refused to accept your decision to move on? This story matters because Montanae's experience isn't unique. Every day, people face harassment and threats from those who can't accept rejection. Some survive, some doubt. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. These stories aren't just about true crime. They're about recognizing dangerous patterns before they turn deadly. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Your simple act might save a life. By the end of this video, you'll understand how quickly possessive behavior can escalate, the warning signs everyone should recognize, and the critical gaps in our protection systems that need fixing. Montanae Davis deserved to live. Let's learn from her story so others can too. Dayton, Ohio, serves as a backdrop for this tragic story. Dayton is widely known as the birthplace of aviation, a hub of innovation, and features a notable network of rivers and parks. However, like many cities, Dayton faces significant challenges. Records and reports indicate the city confronts a considerable rate of violent crime, including ongoing issues related to gun violence.
Outdated IT systems in healthcare are a serious medical concern. You may have outdated print systemitis, sometimes known as "Why is our PHI in a system as old as an Atari?" syndrome. Vasion Print, formerly Printer Logic.
Born September 26, 1997, in Dayton, Ohio, Montanae Antoinette Lamech Chantel Davis grew up in a close-knit community where family values ran deep. From her earliest days, those who knew her noticed something special, a natural warmth and genuine concern for others that couldn't be taught. During her years at Thurgood Marshall High School, Montanae wasn't just focused on grades. While other teens spent weekends at the mall, she volunteered at local shelters and community centers. Her teachers remember a student who'd stay after class to help struggling classmates, not because she had to, but because that's just who she was. After graduation, Montanae enrolled at Wright State University, initially pursuing early childhood education. But something pulled her toward healthcare. Maybe it was watching a nurse care for a sick family member, or maybe it was just her natural instinct to help others in their most vulnerable moments. Whatever sparked it, Montanae found her calling and transferred to the Ohio Institute of Allied Health to study nursing. By 2024, at just 26, she'd achieved what many spend decades working toward: a career she loved, a home of her own, and a family that adored her. She'd recently obtained her registered nurse license and was already planning her next educational steps. Colleagues at the hospital described her as the kind of nurse you'd want taking care of your own mother: attentive, skilled, and genuinely invested in each patient's recovery. Her drive didn't stop there. Montanae was also a successful event decorator in Dayton, balancing her medical career with creative entrepreneurial work. People who knew her described her as someone who embodied love, kindness, and intelligence. Her former principal even remembered her as being one of our very best. But Montanae's proudest achievement? Her two beautiful children. In videos shared by family, you can see her face light up when they enter the room. She'd work long shifts at the hospital, then come home with enough energy to read bedtime stories and check homework. Her mom's skills were just as impressive as her nursing skills. She was going to be somebody big in healthcare, a coworker shared. The patients loved her, and she was always talking about getting more certifications, maybe becoming a nurse practitioner someday. What makes this story so heartbreaking is that Montanae was just getting started. All those night shifts, all those study sessions, all those sacrifices were beginning to pay off. She was building something beautiful: a life of purpose, a legacy of care, a future for her children. Think about the Montanaes in your own life, those quiet heroes who show up, do the work, care for others, and ask for little in return. Maybe you're lucky enough to have someone like that in your family. Maybe you work with someone who brings that same energy to your workplace. Or maybe you're that person for someone else. Sadly, all these super qualities she possessed would be put off by her jealous, egomaniac ex-boyfriend. Montanae was building a beautiful life, marked by personal and professional success, centered around her children. And after a previous relationship had ended, she found happiness again, entering a new partnership and welcoming another child into her growing family.
You have to die.
I died off this dumb shit.
You got some water?
I'm on deck.
Then I want you to do this one chip challenge too. Then I want you to do the one chip challenge.
Why look like you got less than me?
Bruh, we got the same amount. And yours ain't even spread all over your spoon.
You ready? I ain't trying to think about it too long. I might just do it.
I'm scared.
Shit, fuck it.
I'm scared.
Come on. You ready?
I'm scared.
Come on, pussy. You got some water. If you die, I don't know CPR, none of that shit. You the nurse.
You gotta go first.
Shit.
You gotta go first, then. Why would you?
It ain't going nowhere.
Eat it.
It ain't going nowhere. What the fuck? What the fuck?
However, her past included a relationship with Jamarté Latrell Brown. They dated, but eventually, Montanae chose to move forward, seeking a different path for her life. She found the happiness and stability she desired. But Jamarté Brown, it seems, could not accept that her life was progressing without him. As Montanae embraced her new chapter, her accomplishments, her family life, and her newfound joy became something he watched from a distance. And that distance, coupled with her happiness, created a difficult place for him to be. He struggled with her moving on. Montanae was creating the life she wanted, full of promise and love. She was happy, but her happiness became a source of intense difficulty for the man she had left behind. What would happen when his inability to cope collided with the reality of her moving forward? It makes you wonder, doesn't it? How hard is it for some people to accept that a relationship is truly over? What unseen pressures build when someone can't move on from another person's happiness? And what kind of strength does it take to build a new life, knowing someone from your past is watching with resentment? Have you ever had to cut someone out of your life who couldn't respect your boundaries? Or watched a friend struggle with an ex who just wouldn't let go? The line between persistent and dangerous isn't always clear until it's crossed.
Somebody count with 3, 2, fuck it, come on, 1. Go.
It's nasty as fuck.
Fuck. Ugh. It's just nasty.
Montanae shared her happy moments with her found love on her social media. Finally, she was happy again. Together, they welcomed a new baby. He was a loving young man who showered love and support for Montanae and her kids. That difficulty Jamarte Brown felt watching Montanae move forward didn't remain a silent struggle. His inability to accept the end of their relationship, fueled by seeing her happiness unfold, even through social media, began to surface. He wanted her back by all means necessary. On March 28th, Montanae received 47 text messages in a single day. The content shifted from "please to get back together" to explicit threats. "If I can't have you, nobody will," read one message recovered by investigators. Another stated, "I know when your kids are home alone." Security camera footage from Montanae's home captured Jamarte driving past her house 6 times on March 30th. Twice, he stopped and sat in his car for over 30 minutes, watching the property. His reaction wasn't quiet. It was relentless. Calls, texts, constant communication that Montanae did not welcome. It quickly moved beyond unwanted contact to something far more troubling: threats. The language grew more aggressive, the intent clearer. The threats escalated until they reached a terrifying peak. He made his intentions explicit that night, threatening to harm her, threatening specifically to shoot up her house, and he knew her children were inside. Montanae was gripped by fear, a fear intensified by knowing her young daughters were with her. She understood the severity of the danger she was facing. She wasn't passive. She took steps to protect herself and her family. She called a friend, asking them to come stay with her for support on that frightening night. And crucially, she reached out to the authorities. She made the courageous decision to call 911, relaying the disturbing threats and naming her ex-boyfriend as the source. She put her faith in the system, hoping for protection. But when you're facing a threat determined to reach you, how do you truly escape it? Montanae had done everything she could think of. She alerted her friend, she called emergency services, she named the man threatening her life and the lives of her children. Help was now aware of the danger. But was awareness enough to stop a threat already in motion, a threat closing in on her home? It forces you to consider: how do you gauge the realness of a threat? What does it feel like to be so afraid in your own home that you call someone to stay with you, call emergency services, state your name and the name of the person you fear? Think about the unimaginable stress Montanae must have been under in those hours and days prior. And what about the friend who came to be with her? The fear they must have felt. How could one person's inability to move on cause such terror? The call for help was made. Awareness of the threat was established. But the threat wasn't waiting. In the early morning hours of April 3, 2024, around 2:49 a.m., as emergency dispatchers received the report of a potential shooting, Jamarte Brown arrived at Montanae's home. He didn't knock. He didn't ring. He came with force. Violating the supposed safety of her home, he kicked in the back door, then the back garage door. He was inside. The man she feared was now in her most private space. He found Montanae in the kitchen. And there, in her own home, Jamarte Brown shot her multiple times with a firearm. A sudden, brutal act of violence after moments of terrifying intrusion. The medical examiner would later determine she suffered 5 gunshot wounds in total, to her shoulder, back, abdomen, and chest. The final shot was delivered at close range to her head. Inside the house, Montanae's friend was awakened by the sounds. Confronted by immediate, extreme danger, she reacted in a desperate fight for survival. She was on a call with the 911 dispatcher when gunshots rang out and the call ended abruptly. She used her own firearm, discharging it at Brown in an attempt to stop the attack before fleeing the residence to get safe. The home had become a scene of sudden, horrifying chaos. Dayton police officers were dispatched swiftly after the initial report. Upon arrival at the Torrington Place address, they entered the residence.
Introducing the new BF Goodrich All-Terrain KO3 tire. Legendary toughness made tougher. BF Goodrich, what are you building for?
They found Montanae in the kitchen, having sustained severe gunshot wounds. Officers immediately began administering aid, working urgently to save her life amidst the aftermath. After the shooting, Jamarte Brown did not remain at the scene. He fled the area before law enforcement fully secured the location. First responders worked urgently on Montanae at the scene. Body camera footage shows officers immediately beginning life-saving measures, applying pressure to wounds, and calling for emergency medical services. "Stay with us, ma'am. Help is coming. Stay with us," one officer can be heard saying as he held pressure on her chest wound. Paramedics arrived within minutes and worked frantically to stabilize her for transport. At 3:12 a.m., the ambulance departed for Miami Valley Hospital with lights and sirens, taking the fastest route possible through the pre-dawn streets of Dayton. Emergency room staff were waiting when the ambulance arrived. Montanae was immediately taken to trauma surgery, where doctors fought for nearly 2 hours to save her life. Despite receiving multiple blood transfusions and emergency surgical interventions, the damage was too severe. At 4:47 a.m., Montanae Antoinette Davis was pronounced dead. A nurse who had dedicated her life to saving others couldn't be saved herself. The attending physician noted in his report that even if Montanae had been in the hospital at the moment the shooting occurred, her injuries were likely unsurvivable.
For her killer, they said the shooting may have happened in front of her own children.
Now, this happened in Montgomery County about 3 o'clock this morning on Torrington Place, just off Salem Avenue. News Center 7's Mike Campbell joins us live with what 911 calls and police are telling him. Mike?
Well, Gabrielle, investigators downtown at the Dayton Police Department headquarters and those here at the West Patrol Operations Division tell me the entire homicide squad is working on this case. Now, you could actually hear shots being fired when one person dialed 911, and it appears the victim herself made a chilling call moments earlier.
911, what's the address of the emergency?
We are not using the audio that appears to be the 26-year-old victim. She told dispatchers an ex-boyfriend was calling her, threatening to shoot up her house, and she told dispatchers she had 2 children. Then dispatchers received a second call, they believe, from another adult female that was in the house, but that call dropped.
Hello? 911, we got a call from this number. Is everything okay? Where are you? Where are you?
Police were already on the way after the first call, but more officers headed to the street and the home after the second call.
They found a female, 26 years of age, who had been shot. They did first aid at the scene, but unfortunately she passed away later at the hospital.
Dayton Police Major Brian Johns told us they are following up on some information shared with them in the 911 calls.
There is information that we are aware of, that there was like a break-in there first, that there was like a fight taking place, and then the shots were actually fired, and she was struck and killed.
Police told me their forensic services unit recovered a lot of evidence that they are analyzing. They didn't want to tell me if someone in the home returned fire against the person that broke in or not. They also wouldn't confirm if the victim's children were in the home when the tragedy took place.
I cannot comment yet on that. We do have a person of interest that we're trying to follow up on. Our entire homicide unit right now is out working this complaint, trying to bring some resolution and some justice for the victim and her family.
Back live now. Police could not tell me if they've had previous calls from the victim in this case or from the home where this happened. They are checking that, and we will let you know what they discover.
As dawn broke over Dayton, 2 children would soon learn they no longer had a mother. Parents would learn they'd lost a daughter. Patients would learn they'd lost a compassionate caregiver. And a community would learn it had lost one of its brightest lights. All because one man couldn't accept rejection. What would you say to her children if you could? How do you explain to a young child that someone was so obsessed with controlling their mother that he took her away forever? These are the impossible conversations happening in too many homes across our communities. If you know someone who's being threatened by a current or former partner, please don't wait to intervene. Share this video with them. Sometimes seeing another person's story makes the danger of your own situation clearer. Sometimes an outside perspective is what someone needs to take that crucial step toward safety. Hit that like button if you believe we need to talk more openly about relationship violence. Comment below with resources in your area for those facing domestic threats. Your local knowledge might save someone watching this video. And if you've ever helped someone escape a dangerous relationship, share your experience. Your wisdom could be the lifeline someone else needs. In moments of extreme danger like this, instinct takes over. How do you react when the threat you feared most bursts through your door? What goes through your mind when your home becomes a place of intense violence? What incredible courage does it take for a friend to face down such a threat, even briefly, to try and help? And what immense pain does a family face waiting for news at a hospital, knowing their loved one was attacked in their own kitchen? These are the kinds of questions this story forces us to confront.
Damn, cuz, you alright? What you got going on?
I need something else.
Give me out that stupid ass video. Stop, bro. It's fine. You about